Hello everyone and welcome to my garage. Today I got a few products I wanted to take a look at. One of them's the Kid Red Shotgun handlebars and then the Kids Red Shotgun seat. I bought the seat and then was gifted the handlebars for Christmas, and I've taken a look at them, but I wanted to look at them a little more in depth, throw them on a bike, take them for a test ride. Maybe there's some parents looking to take their kids out on rides and want to know if this is a good product for them and if it's worth the money. So we'll dig into these boxes and hook it up to my bike and I'll see how it works. So first off, I really like the box quality. I think it's nice when companies spend a little bit more on a nice box that ensures that the product gets to the customer without having any problems or any damage to the products themselves. Here's what's inside the box looks like. Very neatly packaged. Comes with a manual, some stickers. Actually pretty good looking stickers. I think my son will like those. And can put them on the bike cave as well. Got the pegs. Not sure how they go on, but we'll figure it out. Here's the bike seat. Looks well made, looks pretty robust. Not any different than any seats I ride, but just quite a bit smaller. Just kind of wide, but I don't know if that'll matter for the little kids. They're not super picky on things, I noticed. It comes with some wrenches, an Allen wrench, 2 standard wrenches, and they're really nice actually. They feel decent quality. And then the straps, these will go over the kids' feet on the pegs. My assumption is it holds them on just in case they let go of the bars so they don't fall off the bike. And then here's the seat post. And it looks very well made, very well machined. Yeah, I like the rubber protective all the way on the inside here, so no matter where it contacts the bike, it hopefully won't rub the paint off. That was my only real concern with this was if I use it on my bike for a significant period of time, is it going to rub the paint off and get down to the carbon? Because that would be quite the bummer. I've had a declined tool bag on the bottom part of my bike, so I'm riding an Eagle to Calling. And if you look at this spot right here, you can see where the paint has been rubbed off. That's from a tool bag. It sits right here and it straps over the bar, but it vibrates. And even though it has a rubber piece as well, it still rubs the bike over a long period of time. It's not too big a deal for the bottom of the down tube, but I do worry if it's on the sides or the top tube, it's going to be more noticeable and it's going to bother me more. Let's take a look at the bars. These are some rubber pieces to help them fit in different size bars. Looks like they're definitely 35 wide. Pretty big. Nice bars. It's a little bit smaller grip than your normal 35 mil handlebar, so I think the kids will like that. And it also raises it up a bit. I think that'll help keep them up tall, make it more comfortable for them. My only worry is if they're using these bars and they're sitting up high, is their helmet going to be real close to my chin, so I'm constantly banging on them. So we'll find out. We'll try it with the bars, without the bars, see what works best for my son. So I will figure out how this all mounts onto my bike and take it for a test spin and bring you guys along. But I don't want to bore you with the assembly, but I'll fast forward through that and we'll be back in just a bit. Yeah. More sturdy than my seat. I have 35 millimeter bars for sure, and it says not to use any of the rubber here, but I feel like I need to use these ones because there's a ton of room there. I think we'll try it. looks like it's gonna work better. The rubber's touching there, and there's a little gap so that I can tighten it down. Let's take a look at it. It's the handlebars on the seat. It extends quite a ways down, so I think I need to compress the shock. Doesn't look like it touches. I mean, I'd have to slam pretty hard, and you're definitely not going to slam hard with a little kid on. So I think there's plenty of room. Oh, my bike didn't want to stay straight. All right, we'll put your feet in there. Yeah. Now you hold right here, right there. How's that feel? You holding on tight? Oh. You holding on tight? Oh, you want a bike? All right, hold on. Here we go. All right, here you go. Pull your feet up. There you go. You excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your hands go right here. Yeah, that's where you hold, and you're holding tight, okay?
Daddy?
Yeah, these are Daddy's handles. Whee! Here we go. How about through the rocks? Can we go through the rocks? Oh, here's the hill. Bumpy hill.
Dad, you got this too.
Uh-huh. Whee! Break! Ta-da! Alright, sit on your bone. I know, you're excited.
I have got it. Yeah. I got it.
You saw the cactus. Horse poo-poo everywhere. Hello. Morning.
Let's go up and sit down.
Yep, you gotta go look at the rocks. So here we are, guys, back in my garage again. I was able to take my son out to Brown's Ranch in North Scottsdale using the kids' ride shotgun. So I got a little bit of experience with it now, and there's just a couple things I really like about it, things I don't like about it. I absolutely love being able to take my son out on the trails, especially when my wife's busy at work or something and can't watch him. That allows us to go together. And before this, I have not been able to do that. You can get the trailers or the tow behinds, but they don't work great on trails. This is an awesome way to put them on your bike and go have a lot of fun. One of my favorite things about this seat is it puts the weight in the center of your bike. I find that makes it very comfortable for riding. You don't feel like you're gonna tip over, you don't feel top heavy. I have another bike seat that goes on the back of our bike that my wife used to go around the neighborhood, and with my son Atlas on the back, it feels very, very top heavy, and so I don't think it would be fun on the trails with that. And it's not really meant for trails, but
Just as a comparison, this puts the weight in the center of the bike and makes it way more comfortable, way more maneuverable. It kind of just feels like maybe riding a e-bike, just a heavier bike. My son's 30 pounds, and I had no issues at all on the trails. I also find the rubber does work pretty good. I didn't see any rubbing or issues with it taking off paint from vibrating, and it cinches down fine. At first I was like, man, I got to take off this axle every time to get the pegs off and get the bike seat off. It's going to take forever. Well, honestly, spinning the nuts and pulling the axle out only takes me 5 minutes, and then it has a quick release for the centerpiece, and it spins out as well. There's definitely no way for the bike seat to fall off the bike if you have it installed properly, so it's definitely very safe. The only concern I'd have is if your kid lets go of the handlebars and pulls their feet out of the stirrups. My son was able to pull his feet out of the stirrups, and he'd kind of dangle them in the air occasionally. But even then, I wasn't worried about him falling off the bike because he was pretty balanced and he's a strong kid. So I think it's a fairly safe product, even if you're riding on mountain bike trails. You know, I definitely don't think you should go take it on high technical trails. I take my son on smooth, flowy, simple trails, and he loves it, and that's all we really need. And I took him out today. We did just under 9 miles, and probably could have done 20. So that tells me that his butt wasn't sore. He was super happy. The only reason we quit is because my wife wanted to go. We had a time limit. But for comfort wise, man, he seemed like he was super happy. He wasn't uncomfortable at all and enjoyed the entire ride. So 9 miles, that's way more than I thought we were going to get our first ride. One thing I did want to note is when I was riding, my knees definitely hit him in the butt on occasion. So you got to kind of pedal bow-legged. I didn't find that to be too big a deal. I didn't notice it once I got used to pedaling that way for a while. The only thing I didn't like is he was wearing denim, which has pockets in the back, and my knees would rub the pockets, and it was kind of chafing my knees a little bit. So I think next time I go ride with him, I'm going to throw him in some sweatpants, something a little softer, smoother. It'll probably be more comfortable for him as well as myself. One thing I didn't like about the bike seat are these nuts right here. Unfortunately, they give you a wrench, and it's a pretty decent wrench, and it's 8 millimeters, and the nuts are supposed to be 8 millimeters, but as you can see here, there's a lot of slop. You go to cinch them down, and it pops around the nut, and that's because the nut is slightly smaller than it should be, and it's also glossed, so it's kind of slippery. But my issue is you go to tighten them down, and it pops around it, and it's just really easy to round those nuts off. So I think once you get it tight, just leave it, double check it each ride, make sure it's safe, but you don't want to be fiddling with it too much. I even tried a nicer wrench, it still had the same issue. So my assumption is the nuts just aren't quite as big as they need to be. I wish the tolerance there was a little better so that you don't have that issue. Might have to replace them someday in the future. Other than that, great seat, absolutely love it. The joy that my son has on it makes me super, super happy, and the fact that I can ride with him, that's amazing. You can't do that with pretty much any other product. It's a bit expensive, $150, but once you see your kids out there having fun and it gives you the ability to take them out, I think every parent who wants to take their kids out will also agree with me that it's totally worth the money. Now I want to talk about the handlebars. They're a little different story. I also like them. Quality's good, really well built. The only issue I had is it said it shouldn't need any sleeves. In the instructions here, it says right there, it says 35 millimeter bars, no sleeves at all. I have 35 millimeter bars. I throw it on there, I tighten them down, and they flip and spin over the bars. Definitely not tight enough. So what I do is I took the small sleeve, you can see it here, and I stuck it in there on both sides, and I tightened it down as tight as it would go again. And while we're riding, the bars would still slip over my handlebars. So obviously the instructions are wrong. 35 millimeter bar on my mountain bike, and I'm using a small sleeve and it still spins. So I took a medium sleeve, cut it in half, and I put half on each side here. I don't know if you can see that there. Half the sleeve here and half the sleeve there. So we got the small sleeves there, and then we got a medium one cut in half with each half on the sides. And if you see that, that works really well for 35 millimeter bars. I was able to get it tight enough that when we're riding, the bars aren't rotating over my bars. They were nice and firm and stiff, and I was still able to get the bolt in without any issue at all. So unfortunately, I don't think the instructions are correct. And that's a bummer because the bars are $30 and the seat's $150. So $180 is a lot of money to spend for something that, you know, you have to kind of fiddle with and make sure that it's safe yourself. And I don't like that. I think you spend that much money on something, it should be perfect to go out of the box, especially for how simple and small these are. That being said, very sturdy. Once you do get them set up correctly and they're tight, they don't move after that. And I like that it gives him a place to put his hands. My son absolutely loved that they were his own bars. I could have gone without these and he just hold on to my bars, but then he likes to fiddle with the shifter and the brakes, and it made things a little more complicated. Having these on there, he knew exactly where to put his hands. Every time he'd wave at people or say hi, he'd put his hands right back. He felt like he was part of the bike, and I think it's worth the extra $30 for the handlebars. They're a little bit more of a pain because one more thing to put on your bike before you go ride, but definitely works it. Makes sure definitely worth it, and it makes your ride a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about him, you know, accidentally hitting the shifter while you're riding or slamming on the brakes, which he did love to do at the start. So it was good that we got that figured out. Overall, it's a package. Great combination. Handlebars, seat, by kids ride shotgun. Worth the money. I think if your kid likes to ride a strider bike or likes a pedal bike, they're more than likely going to love this, and it gives you the opportunity to go ride more often and take your children. So if you're worried at all, don't be. Go try it out. Worth the money. With that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this gave you some help if you're looking for a seat or a way to get your kids out riding with you. And check out my other videos, and we'll catch you next time.
Alright. Slow corner. Take it safe. There we go. More bumps. Oh, another corner.